Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm a fourth-year film student at Cal State Long Beach. And in the game, my character is Jovahkeen, a human ranger. Normally when I play Pathfinder, I choose the fighter class or barbarian or something similar to that, where it's more melee, up-close fighting, more based on combat. But I wanted to try something new, so I decided to be a ranger, just to mix things up. And I've played this game a whole bunch of times, and so I thought, why not try? Rangers are ranged characters. Some of their skills lie outside of combat, such as tracking, survival skills, so I can help the party out in other ways rather than just combat. I also got a pet as a ranger, which was one of the reasons I picked it. I have a wolf named Fenrir, and he's pretty awesome. Jovahkeen's definitely a lot different than myself. He's I guess a loose cannon, doesn't necessarily follow the rules unless it's beneficial to him. And sometimes it's him looking out for his friends as well, maybe helping out his his friend might have broken the law, but he's going to help his friend out, even if it's against the law. So it's not necessarily he's all bad, it's just that he's not quite as lawful, I suppose, as I am in real life. I don't even cross the street if it's the hand instead of the person walking. I'm pretty law-abiding, I would say. One thing that helps when you're doing a role-playing game is developing a character backstory. So my character, Jovahkeen, was raised in a poverty-stricken family and fell into the influence of criminals. And one of them pressured him to killing a civic official, and he has a secret regret for that. So that's something that he lives with in his daily life, that he carries with him, and that influences all his decisions. And so I constantly remind myself of that when we're making crucial decisions in the game. What would I do if this was my past? I think having characters with challenges and troubles is one of the interesting parts of the game. It's just like in life, there's always challenges to overcome. There's always something, life's not perfect. So when you have a character in a game and he's facing those same challenges, maybe not the same challenges, I don't have to go fighting dragons or anything, but I have certain metaphorical dragons to slay of my own, and it's something that it sort of helps you problem solve, whether I might not actually be fighting a dragon with a sword in real life, but I can count on my friends to help me out and learn to deal with ask them for help and tackle challenges together. My other hobbies besides Pathfinder, I love baseball, watching baseball. Not very good at playing it, but I'll always be watching baseball when it's on. I like, watching movies, making movies, of course, as a film major. Right now I'm making a movie about baseball. Like I said, two of my favorite hobbies. My junior year I made a short film about this kid that tries to throw a Dungeons and Dragons party with his friends, and then none of them show up. And and then eventually, at the same time, his next door neighbor is having a party outside, and she comes over and realizes he's alone and invites him to join the party. At the end of the film, the character is trying to decide whether or not to accept her invitation to go over to her party, and he does so by rolling dice, because that's what you do in the game. Every decision you make, you roll the dice to determine the outcome. So what he ends up doing is rolling the dice, and it's not the outcome you want, so he rolls it again and again until it finally tells him to go to the party. It was definitely a more personal story, and so that's sort of an element of myself that I tried to throw in there. I think the creative choices of this game allows me to make really tie into my my career path as a film major. That this is what I want to do, storytelling, and I think that doing it from a character's perspective is an interesting way, especially if I'm writing. I can look and I'm good at trying to become that character and think about what's motivating him, why is this, I think about those backstories and what might have happened to him in the past that's going to cause him to act this way. I think this game is a good way to unleash my creativity. I've also been a GM a few times for a few campaigns, and creating that entire world and that entire story is just so much fun. Developing that, and it sort of is like making a movie in a way, except it's, I guess, all mostly improv. I mean, the GM somewhat comes up with the script, but it's up to the players to do what they want. So it's pretty fun. That's it.
I had trouble with that one too, Joe.
That's a hard one. The best game I've ever played. That's a tough question because, I've first off played so many. I've been doing it, like I said, 4 or 5 years now. It's also hard because individual games aren't necessarily self-contained. If you do a campaign, you're talking about all the moments of that campaign. I think this group right now that we have, me and Connor and Justin and Bruno and Tyler, is probably the best group I've played with. We all get really into it, and every time we've played, it's like time flies. I'm like, oh wait, it's been like 8 hours. Like, oh. I think a lot of it comes down to the people playing. Sometimes I've played with people who aren't really into it, or just it's not as fun. Or they just go around ruining things for all the other players, and it's like, it's not as fun when you do that. But also the story. I mean, Connor's really put a lot of thought into it, and he's been incorporating our backstories into the story, which is always really cool. Gives us sort of extra motivation for our characters, and reasons why we want to go save the kingdom. Like, it's not just go save the kingdom and get money. There's we have personal ties connected to it. And I think that's made this campaign really interesting. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience role playing this game. I think it's actually a little. In a way, sometimes I feel more comfortable playing the game than I do in real life, as in the game, because in the game I'm just my character, so I can do anything, and it's the character's decisions, it's his choices, that it doesn't really affect anything, whereas a lot of times I think in life I overthink everything, and I'm extra cautious, and and I think maybe this game has helped me a little bit to sort of get over that. Pathfinder is definitely a unique form of leisure or entertainment. It's it's sort of just like unwinding and watching sports or reading a book or playing video games. It's just a different way to have fun. I think it's pretty much universal. I've definitely had some people who don't necessarily enjoy playing it, and that happens. And there's nothing out there for everyone. It's an active way to have. Well, not physically active, but as sitting down and watching sports. I love baseball. I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that. Sort of spectating. You don't have any objective, force in the outcome. You can't. You're just sitting on your couch watching. You can't change what happens. Whereas when you're playing a game like this, you have, for the most part, total control. It also depends on the other players in the game, but you can affect the outcome. You can make decisions. You can make choices. And it's also about interacting with your friends and having a good time.